Topic number 3. So topic number 3, have you guys been able to see what I've shared with you there? So topic number 3, it's called planning and decision making. It's called planning and decision making. Very, very popular and very easy to follow. Anybody will be able to follow this really. So we are told here, topic 3, planning and decision making techniques. We have the first subtopic here called the cost volume profit analysis. Definitions. CVP analysis is a financial modeling tool that helps businesses understand the relationships between costs, sales volumes, and the profits here. It assists in decision making regarding pricing, product mix, and the financial planning decisions, ladies and gentlemen. Listen and listen to me very well. When we talk of cost volume profit analysis, as a manager, it will be very important for me to know, for example, like what volumes do I sell to be able to maximize my profits? How do I get to control my costs? You know, if you remember what we call Michael Porter gave us very, very good strategies of ensuring that we are the market leaders as an institution. And amongst those strategies, he told us that we must be cost leaders and ensure that you are a cost leader. And ensure that you are a cost leader here. When you are a cost leader, once in this case here you have your cost, you will be able, of course, to add a small profit. And of course, the moment you add a small profit, then you are able to get what we call a selling price, which given the quality you're selling, which could be the lowest in the market, which could be the lowest in, for example, the market. So for us to be a market leader, we must be a cost leader. Once you're a cost leader, then in terms of prices, remember customers outside here, they are price sensitive. So once you have amongst the lowest prices, then automatically you will be a market leader. Like for example, RCM Online College, one of the things that are really putting us ahead of the rest is our price. When we're charging 4,800 Kenya shillings per paper, there are ninjas outside there who are charging up to 11,000 Kenya shillings per paper. They can't compete. So be a cost leader and ensure, like in our case, our rent is almost zero. Like RCM Online College, like today I'm teaching from home. All right. So in this case here, we don't have like a very big physical presence in town. No. So once then we are like cost leaders, we'll easily be able to beat. So whenever we talk about cost volume profit, we're going to look at how we make our decisions and ensuring that at the end of the day, we shall be able to maximize on our profits here. We shall be able to maximize on our profits. Now listen and listen to me very well. Listen and listen to me very well. If you look at key components costs, we have what we call fixed costs and we have variable costs. So fixed costs do not change with the production volume. They always remain what are the same. So remember, like rent, even if you are to get 1,000 students, rent will be the same. Salaries, any expenditure that is periodical, like monthly, yearly expenditure, not dependent on number of units. In this case here, those expenses will always be said to be what here? To be fixed. Will always be said to be fixed. And then variable costs are those costs, ladies and gentlemen, that change as production changes. They are those expenses, ladies and gentlemen, that remain like these. Those expenses that remain like these are fixed costs. They remain ever constant regardless of the quantity that we produce. Even if you produce, for example, 10,000 liters, you produce 20,000 liters, rent will be the same. And then we have those other expenses that as quantity increases, they increase as well. We call them what here? We call them variable costs. So variable costs are those kind of costs, in this case here, that increase as we produce more. Assuming we are producing tables, we are carpenters. So if you are to be carpenters, and a cost, for example, like timber cost, the more the tables we produce, the more the timber we will need, the higher the timber cost will be. So timber cost is directly proportional to the tables we produce. So then that automatically becomes a variable cost. Then we have sales volume. Of course, you know, sales volume, this stands for the quantity of products that we do what here we sell. Then we have revenue. Revenue is sales. It is the income generated here from sales. And we shall be seeing here, ladies and gentlemen, every time we talk about revenue, we shall be seeing something very important here that revenue will always be equal to. Anytime they want us to give them revenue, it will always be equal to price times quantity sold. So if I'm selling pens of this nature, and perhaps one pen goes for 10 bob, and then I sell 9 pens in a day. All right. So in this case here, the selling price is 10, quantity sold is 9. Then automatically revenue is price times quantity. I'll be able to take the 10 shillings times 9. I'll be able to get, in this case here, a revenue of what here now? 90. Very, very important. Whenever we talk of revenue, revenue is the same as sales. It is the same as turnover. It is the same as turnover. It is the same as turnover. Turnover like this. It is the same as who? It is the same as turnover like that. It is the same as turnover like that. It is the same as turnover like that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are progressing here. We are progressing here. So then what I would want us to look at is this one here. So we have your profit. Of course, profit is the difference between revenue and the total cost. So whenever we talk about our profit in management accounting or advanced management accounting, anytime they tell us to look at the profit, anytime they tell us to look at the profit, profit will always be equal to revenue minus cost. Profit will always be equal to revenue minus cost. Now you have to begin writing here. Now we have started doing serious business. That our pi will be the profit. 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 All right? And this R is revenue. How do we get revenue? To get revenue, we shall be taking unit selling price times number of units, in this case here, sold. All right? How do we get cost? To get cost, we know that cost is total variable cost plus fixed cost, plus fixed cost, plus fixed cost. And this variable cost, we shall take variable cost per unit times number of units plus what we call fixed what here, plus this fixed cost, like that. So cost, fixed cost, has got no association with X. So our cost will be Vx plus what here plus F, like that. And therefore, our pi, which is revenue minus cost, our pi will be revenue, which is Px minus our cost. Remember, our cost has got many terms. Our cost has got many terms. So those very many terms, we must put them in brackets. Can you kindly give me a signal once you guys are able to write up to here? Kindly give me a signal once you guys are able to write up to here. Once you guys are able to write up to here, kindly give me a signal. All right. And then I would want you to right away, in this case here, remove those brackets. Remove those brackets. Then pi will be equal to who? Remove those brackets. Remove those brackets. Remove those brackets. Remove those brackets. So if you remove those brackets, in this case here, what shall we get? If you remove those brackets, what shall we get? Our pi will be equal to Px minus, I'm opening brackets. So remember, this is a positive. Now it will be minus is strong. So this will be minus Vx minus F minus. The minus here will destroy everything inside there. All the signs inside there will change. All the signs inside there will change. Ladies and gentlemen, I can come and factor out X. So if I factor out X, I will have P minus V. We multiply this outside here with X minus fixed cost, minus fixed cost, minus fixed cost. This is really, really, really interesting because I've factored out X. So it will be P minus V multiplied by a number of units minus fixed cost. And then remember that P minus V is what we call contribution margin. This is what we call contribution margin. Therefore, P will be equal to CM X minus what here? Remember, contribution margin is CM. CM X minus fixed cost. So it had to end here, where our profit is total contributions minus what we call fixed what here, minus what we call fixed cost, minus what we call fixed cost, minus what we call fixed cost. So anytime, ladies and gentlemen, we hear about profits of an organization, profit will be equal to total contributions minus, in this case here, what we are calling the fixed what here, the fixed cost, like that. Where total contributions, how do we get these total contributions? We shall take contribution per unit. Contribution per unit is what we call CM. So contribution per unit times the number of units here, which are X, minus fixed cost, like that. If I were you, I would really have highlighted this. And if I voted for UDA, the highlighter should be yellow. The highlighter should be yellow. So up to here, ladies and gentlemen, somehow, are we together somehow? Up to here, are we somehow? Up to here, are we somehow together? Up to here, are we somehow together? All right. All right. So this is really important. And we are saying that now we have known how to get contribution margin. Anytime someone talks about contribution margin, we shall be taking selling price minus what here? Minus variable cost per unit. That really is very, very important. That is very, very important. That is very, very important. Very important. All right, ladies and gentlemen, from there, then we shall be able to go straight away to profit of non-profit, the basic assumptions of CVP. So basic assumptions of CVP, number one, we have what we call linearity. Linear cost behavior. We have a constant selling price. We have a constant variable cost. The variable cost per unit is always similar, is always the same throughout. A single product focus, CVP analysis typically assumes that the business focuses on a single product or a constant product what year, product mix. Then we have a time frame. It's normally short term. Short term. It's not a long term thing. The analysis considers a specific time period, usually short term, whereas all other factors remain what year constant. No inventory changes. It assumes that all products produced are sold in the same period. No inventory buildup, zero inventory. CVP is a zero inventory model. Is a zero inventory model. Competitive, perfect competition. It assumes a market with perfect competition where the business cannot influence the market what year, market prices. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please listen whenever they ask you about assumptions of a CVP. You shall always remember that profit equals P minus V multiplied by number of units here minus what year? Minus fixed cost. The selling price is known in advance and will remain constant throughout. Variable cost per unit, not the total one. The variable cost for each unit that is to be sold is known in advance and will remain what year? Will remain constant. Will remain constant. All volumes produced are sold. CVP is a just-in-time model. It doesn't believe in any stock. It is always a zero stock model, JIT, just in time. All units in this case that we produce in the period, we are able to sell everything there. The total fixed cost is known in advance and will remain in this case here constant. And will remain constant. And then we have, of course, if you look at this line looks like this, y equals mx plus what here plus c. So the line is a straight line. So we are talking about linearity assumption, net assumption. And then, of course, we have in this case here the concept of a perfect competitive markets. That we don't have oligopolies here. We don't have monopolies here that are able to dictate a price. And in this case here, consumers have got no voice at all. So you've got so many farms, which in this case will be able to follow the demand, stroke supply concepts here to set prices. to set prices. So the moment you remember that, and remember for us to be able to have this X working, what if your tables and your shelves? Then that will not be able to work. But unless you have what we call a constant sales mix, as we shall be seeing. Otherwise, ladies and gentlemen, we are saying that CVP assumes or can only, in this case here, analyze organizations that are producing a single homogeneous product. A single homogeneous product. A single homogeneous what here? Product. A single homogeneous product. So up to here, ladies and gentlemen, are we together somehow? Up to here, are we together somehow? Are we together up to here? Are we together? All right. Thank you so much. Then we shall be able to make progress. We shall be able to make progress. So what progress are we making here? Applications of CVP analysis. Where do we use CVP analysis? In pricing strategies, product mix decisions, profit planning, planning for profits here, risk assessment. So where do we use CVP? And this is popular. When coming up with pricing decisions, product mix decisions, because at the end of the day, we want to really make a decision on which product is the most profitable one. We work with it, or we have more of that quantity in our production mixture. When we are doing profit planning, so it aids in forecasting profits at various sales levels. So whenever in this case here we want to assess risks, it evaluates the impact of changes in costs and volumes on profitability. As we shall be seeing, we shall be having what we call sensitivity analysis. When a price changes slightly like this, what impact will that have on profitability? The one that has got maximum impact on profitability, then that will be taken to be very, very risky. That will be taken to be very, very risky. That will be taken to be very, very risky. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So then you guys have to draw something like this. You draw something like this. So we have here what we call in this case here, sales. Sales in units. Then you draw something like this. So we have single product. We have multiple products. Single product and the multiple products like that. Please make a table like that. So when we talk of sales in units, we are looking at X quantity like that. We are looking at X quantity. So then our single product, if it is profit, here we shall talk about CMX minus fixed cost. This is very important. That's number one. Then we have number two. What about break-even point? What about break-even point? BEP. So BEP, we shall call this one here X break-even. X break-even. How do we get X break-even? To get X break-even, we shall take in this case here fixed cost divided by contribution margin. To get X break-even, we shall take fixed cost divided by contribution margin. Very, very important. It will be very, very important for us to appreciate the fact that companies break even at the point where profit equals zero. Very, very important for us to just make a note there that at break-even point, pi equals zero. At break-even point, pi equals zero. At break-even point, pi equals zero. At break-even point, profit equals zero. Profit equals zero. Now, what if they wanted us to give them quantity, the last one here, quantity for a targeted profit? Quantity for a target profit. How will we be able to get this quantity for a target profit, which is not X break even? Yeah, Keza is telling us it is the point at which revenue equals cost. Where in this case here, the profit, profit is revenue minus cost. When the two of them are the same, the profit will be zero. So if they want us to give them quantity for some target profit, this X here will be F plus the profit you are targeting divided by CM. divided by CM. So remember, I'm not talking of X break even. Whenever I'm targeting break even, then the profit is zero. So it boils down to this fixed cost over CM. So whenever I want to get quantity X for a targeted profit, I will take, in this case here, the profit which I'm targeting plus the firm's fixed cost. Because we must always have what we call fixed cost recovery. We must always have fixed cost recovery. We must always have fixed cost recovery. And then everything shall be divided by what here? By the CM. Everything shall be divided by the CM like that. Then we come to multiple products. So multiple products, what we shall do is basically to get like kind of astonished. Because on a multiple products, we normally introduce the concept of wow, we are being, all right? So in this case here, we simply all over. Whenever you see in this case here, multiple products, we are only going to introduce wow. So like, for example, this one here, profit, instead of CM, we shall talk of WACM, X minus F, WACM, X minus F like that. So we have here WACM, and then we have X, WACM, and then we have X minus what here? Minus fixed cost like that. That is profit, WACM X minus fixed cost, where WA stands for what we call weighted average. WA stands for what we call weighted average. This stands for what we call weighted average. So anywhere you see, like for example, this is number one. When I go to number two, when we talk about X break even, when we have multiple products being produced, we have tables and chairs being produced. So then my X break even will be F. The other one was just CM. This has to be WACM, weighted average contribution margin, weighted average contribution margin, weighted average contribution margin, weighted average contribution margin. And then lastly, the third one here, for any quantity for a targeted profit, this will be F plus profit over WACM. WACM. We are saying in this case here, WACM stands for what here? Weighted average. Weighted average. This stands for weighted average. Weighted average. Weighted average contribution margin. Let me know whether you guys have been able to write up to here. Let me know whether you guys have been able to write up to here. Yeah, great. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Then straight away you'll be given questions here, like exercises. They'll tell you in this case here, fixed cost equals $1 million. Fixed cost equals $1 million. They'll give you the selling price per unit. They will tell you in this case here is 100. Then we have variable cost per unit. Variable cost per unit is 80. Variable cost per unit is 80. Right. Variable cost per unit is 80. And then you'll be required, number one, to determine the break-even quantity. To determine break-even quantity. Break-even quantity. Determine break-even quantity. You determine break-even. Pataki, what does it mean? Break-even quantity. Are you talking about this? Weighted average. Are you talking about this? Weighted average. Weighted average contribution margin. Yeah, we're going to see the concept of weights, how the weights will come in, or the break-even point. Determine break-even point. The point at which we break even is a point at which we generate zero profit. So X at break-even. XBEOK, X break even. I hope you have seen even from what the students have been able to explain there. Quantity to break even. Quantity to break even. Sorry for that. Quantity to break even. Quantity to break even. Yeah, already Keziah has an answer. So determine the break even quantity. So you shall be able to get this break even quantity by applying, in this case here, our formula X break even. X break even is fixed costs over contribution margin. X break even is fixed cost over contribution margin. And then remember how we normally get contribution margin. To get contribution margin, we normally take selling price minus variable cost. Anytime they want us to give them contribution margin, we take selling price minus variable cost. So the whole fixed cost in this case is $1 million. We divide this by the selling price over 100 minus the variable cost of 80. This has to be put in brackets. So when I'm dividing, I have to put that in brackets. So $1 million divided by open brackets, 100 minus 80, you close brackets. Then we'll be able to give us the figure that Keziah is giving us there. Doreen has also given us that same figure. Nkova has given us the same figure of 50,000 units. 50,000 units. So if they produce exactly 50,000 units, then they will be able to break even. If they produce exactly 50,000 units, then they shall be able to break even. If they produce exactly 50,000 units, then they shall be able to exactly break even. I mean, I even gave you a formula. I told you our profit is P minus V multiplied by X minus fixed cost. So if you want to prove that you're right, you don't have to write this, don't write this. If you want to prove that you're right, then our profit here will be the selling price is 100, variable cost is 80 there. And you've told me to sell 50,000 units, and the fixed cost is $1 million. I'm 100% sure if you take up your calculator, this will give us zero profit. 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 Is there somebody who is able to confirm that for sure that is a zero profit thing? I shall saying yes, we shall be able to get zero profit. We shall be able to get zero profit. We shall be able to get zero profit. All right. So that's number one. Number two. So the second part is how many units will be sold for the farm to earn a profit of 2 million? Second question. How many units? How many units will be sold? Will be sold for the company to earn a profit. For the company to earn a profit of Kenya shillings 2 million. For the company to earn a profit of Kenya shillings 2 million. Yeah, now we are targeting some profit. I gave you a formula. I told you for any targeted profit quantity, first of all, you have to recover your fixed cost in full. Then you come and bring the profit you're targeting. And then you divide this by what year? By CM. You divide this by CM. You can even do this CM by the side. You can come and do this CM by the side and tell us that CM is price minus V. Price is 100. Variable cost is 80. You can even do this by the side. Work with a figure of 20. You know what profit you're targeting. You know the farm's fixed cost. So I believe you can easily give us a quantity for some targeted profit. A quantity for some targeted profit, yes. A quantity for some targeted profit, yes. A quantity for some targeted profit. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm being given a figure of what year? 150,000 units. Because you see the fixed cost is constant here. The fixed cost is $1 million. The profit being targeted is 2 million. The profit being targeted is 2 million divided by our contribution margin of 20. So ensure that you know how to use your numerators very well. Numerator means that you take this plus this, which will give me 3 million. So 3 million, you divide this by 20. So then everything in this case will end up giving me 100 what year? 50,000. You're right. Everything will end up there nicely. Nicely. Thank you so much. So then we have example 2. Example 2. So under example 2, we have in this case here a farm. A farm produces 2 products here. 2 products known as who? Abel and a Cain. Yeah. So in this case here, we have selling prices, variable costs. So we have here Abel. We have here Cain. Abel is 80. Cain is 70. Variable cost, we are looking at 70 here. Here we are looking at 50 like that. All right. And then in this case here, we have here quantity sold. Quantity sold. So we have here Abel, 10,000 units. Then we have Cain, 40,000 units. 40,000 units. Like that. Quantity sold. The farm's fixed cost, the farm fixed cost is Kenya shillings 10 million. The farm fixed cost is Kenya shillings 10 million. Kenya shillings 10 million. All right. And then we are required. No, this will not make lots of sense. Let's change this. Let's change this to 5 million. The farm's fixed cost is Kenya shillings 5 million. Yeah. So we are required to determine the total profit. Earned. It's number 1. For profit earned. And then number 2, break-even point. Number 2, we have the break-even point. So number 1, you determine the total profit to be earned or earned. Number 2, we have the break-even point. So this is a very good example of what we call multiple products. Very good example of what we call multiple products. Very good example of what we call multiple products. Very good example of what we call multiple products. Very good example of what we call multiple products. So the question is there anybody who is able to do this question? So this question to me will be very, very easy. Very, very easy. Why am I saying it will be very easy? It will be very easy because, first of all, I can do it using traditional methods. So method one, I can easily come here and get the revenue. So revenue, we know it's price times quantity sold. So then my revenue will be revenue which I'll get from selling ABEL. ABEL price is 80. And of course, I'll be able to sell ABEL 10,000 units. I have two products. So I have another product called a cane. So I'll get revenue from cane, which will be 70 times 40,000. So is there somebody who is able to give me this figure? Is there anybody who is able to give me this revenue? Yeah, even that fixed cost is so high, but I mean, there's no problem in getting a loss. There's no problem in getting losses. So you can see this is the revenue from selling ABEL, price times quantity of ABEL sold, plus the revenue out of selling a product known as K. Yeah, so they're telling me it is 3.1 here, it is 3.6 million. 3.6 million like that. Now from there, come and give us our total cost. So we know that total cost is VX plus F. Fixed cost is common for all the products, remember. So then I'll get, in this case here, the total variable cost from ABEL, total variable cost from K. The variable costs are here. So for ABEL, I will take 70. For ABEL, I will take 70 times ABEL units sold at 10,000. Plus, I go to Kane's variable cost. This variable cost per unit, remember, it's 50 times ABEL's, or rather Kane's quantity, 40,000. Plus the farm's fixed cost. Plus the farm's fixed cost, which now is constant. The farm's fixed cost, which is constant, at 5 million. At 5 million. So is there somebody who can easily give us that total cost? So total cost, I'm just trying to do costing the way you normally do it at your workplace. At a workplace, this is how you get to do your costing normally. So Aisha, Edda, they're giving us 7.7 million. So they're giving us 7.7 million. They're giving us 7.7 million. 7.7 million. So, gentlemen, then once I get this 7.7 million, and really they want me to give them the profit. So the profit, in this case here, the profit, I know profit is revenue minus cost. So my profit here will be my revenue, which is 3.6 million, 3.6 million minus my cost of 7.7 million. And that's my cost of 7.7 million. So is there somebody who can give me this figure? It's a loss. So it's a minus what profit here, somebody? Minus 4.1. So this is a minus 4.1 million. This is how somebody would have done this mathematics, method 1. Method number 2. Second method, ladies and gentlemen, that I would have used to handle my multiple products. I would have said profit is CM X minus F, and then I add this Wacom. So remember that these are weights. So we have here this W standing for weights. And remember that weights have to be the quantity sold proportions. Quantity sold proportions. The quantity sold proportions. Quantity sold proportions. Quantity sold proportions. Quantity sold proportions. The quantity sold proportions. So then we have our quantity sold. We have our quantity sold. So our quantity sold, we have here ABEL, 10,000. And then we have cane, 40,000. I would want to make these proportions. I would want to make these proportions like Keziah is giving us there. I would want to make these proportions. So to make these proportions, you simply add these two, which gives us 50,000. So then this would be 10,000 over 50,000. This would be 40,000 over 50,000. And indeed, Keziah is correct. So Keziah has given us 0.2 if you compute, and this is 0.8 like that. So Keziah has been able to give us this in a very, very nice way. In a very nice way. In a very nice way. So the quantity sold, proportions. Quantity sold, proportions. Quantity sold, proportions. So these quantity sold proportions, once I have them, but are we together first of all up to here? Are we together, ladies and gentlemen? This method 2, up to here, are we together? Great. Then come and give us this Wacom, weighted average contribution margin. So this will be weight 1, contribution margin 1, plus weight 2, contribution margin 2. There are only 2 products. So remember, this was our selling price. Remember, this was our variable costs. So is there somebody who is able to give us the contribution margins? Anybody who is able to give us the contribution margins? Yes. So this will be 80 minus 70. 80 minus 70, this gives us 10. 70 minus 50. I hope they remember how to get CM. But CM is a price minus variable. CM, contribution margin, is price minus variable cost. So then my Wacom will be weight 1. The weight 1 we have. Weight 1 is for Abel, 0.2. Contribution margin 1. First contribution margin is 10. Plus weight 2. Weight 2 is 0.8 times contribution margin 2, which is 20. So is there somebody who is able to give me this Wacom very well? Anybody who is able to give me this Wacom very well? With an average contribution margin very well? Yeah, I like what Keziah is giving me there. All of them, they're giving me a figure of what here? A figure of 18. All of them, they're giving me a figure of 18. All of them are giving me a figure of 18. So this is 18. All right. Then let's plug in these in the profit equation. Our profit is Wacom X minus fixed cost. So our profit will be Wacom, we have Wacom. It's 18. Our quantity sold, now this has to be combined. Combined. Remember Abel was selling 10,000 units. Cain was selling 40,000 units. They're given here, 10 and 40. So it will be 18 times 50,000. Minus the farm's fixed cost, that you guys gave me a figure of what here? The farm's fixed cost, you guys gave me a figure of 5 million. Do you remember that figure of 5 million? Do you remember that figure of 5 million? Do you remember that figure of 5 million? Fixed cost was 5 million. I think I must have lost them, these ninjas. I think these ninjas, I must have lost them. Are we really together? These ninjas, are we really together with them? I doubt. Yeah, I can see Keziah giving me 4.1 million. Right. So the final answer is negative. But are you able to remember this figure? Are you able to remember this figure from wherever? Using some other method, are you able to remember this figure? Yeah, great. So that we have our profit being Wacom X minus what here? Fixed cost. Weighted average, contribution margin, minus the farm's what here? Minus the farm's fixed cost. Very, very important. Very, very important. And then now that drives me to giving you guys the break-even point. So can we ascertain the break-even point? How do we get our break-even point? How do we get our break-even point? To get our break-even point, really, it's as easy as just walking in the park. So X break even will be F over CM. And now remember, these are two products. So Wacom. Fixed cost is 5 million. If my memory serves me well, you guys had given me a Wacom over 18. Wacom over 18. Yes. Fixed cost remains at 5 million. So the number of units that we must sell in this particular case for us to break even will be 5 million divided by 18, which will end up giving me quite an ugly figure, very ugly figure, an ugly figure of 277, 778. So 277, 778, like that. 277, 778, like that. All right. So then we have sales, now not in units, not X, but in Kenya shillings, what we call revenue. What we call revenue here. What we call revenue. What we call revenue. What we call revenue. So then how do we get our profit whenever we have revenue? So profit here will be CMR times revenue minus fixed cost. So now we shall be introducing what we call CMR. We shall be introducing what we call CMR, which is contribution margin ratio. Contribution margin ratio. Contribution margin ratio. We shall be introducing what we call CMR, which is our contribution margin ratio. And to get this CMR, ladies and gentlemen, contribution margin ratio, you shall always be taking CM over price. You shall always be taking CM over what here? CM over price. CM over price. So whenever we are looking at sales in terms of money, then we shall be using CMR. So to get our profit, we shall take CMR times revenue minus fixed cost. CMR times revenue minus fixed cost. CMR times revenue minus fixed cost. So this is very important. Number two, ladies and gentlemen, we have what we call revenue break even. How do we get revenue break even? Very easy. You will take fixed cost over, in this case here, CMR. Fixed cost over CMR. So revenue to break even. Revenue to break even, you will take fixed cost of the firm all over CMR. And then number three, you may be interested in revenue for a target profit. In revenue for a target profit. So in this case here, then how do we get this revenue for some targeted profit? So we'll take fixed cost plus profit all over CMR. You will take fixed cost plus profit all over CMR. Fixed cost plus profit all over CMR. Revenue is fixed cost plus profit all over CMR, where CMR is contribution margin ratio. And then on the other side of the coin, whenever now there are many products, so now here we will only be talking of WA all over. So like for example, profit here will be WACMRI times revenue minus fixed cost. You only introduce Y here for weighted average. Weighted average. Like if it is the second one, if they want me to give them revenue break even, I will talk of fixed cost over WACMRI. Number three, for sales here, for a targeted profit, I will take fixed cost plus the profit I'm targeting all over WACMRI. Like that. It look a bit complicated, but there's nothing really. Nothing. There's nothing there. There's nothing. So let me know once you guys are able to. Let me know once you are able to reach here. Let me know once you're able to reach here. There is a student saying, Walim, you are very fast. That's why I keep on asking. Please tell me whether you have reached. You guys have reached here. But I also think you can't see the board because of what here? Maybe your internet. Your internet has an issue because today my internet is perfect. Are you guys able to see the board? Is it a case for all of you like Monica here? Are you guys able to see the board here? Are you guys able to see my board? It's very clear, yes. It's very clear. So it means it must be Monica's board. Not board, but Monica's internet. Yeah, somebody in this case here should be able to help Monica. Somebody should be able to stop a little bit. And then now somebody should be able to send a screenshot of their write-ups to the group so that Monica can see. Monica, I would recommend that you switch to Starlink. Starlink is very good. It's only the initial cost which is very high, but every other thing is manageable and will not be hanging at all. Everything here becomes very easy. Everything becomes very easy. Easy peasy. Great. So exercise, ladies and gentlemen, we have a single product here. A single product. Price is 10. Variable cost is 3. Fixed cost. In this case is 14 million. So required. Number 1, revenue needed to break even. Number 2, revenue needed to generate a profit of 7 million Kenya shillings. So I give you 5 minutes, you try this on your own. Abracadabra. Let's see how far you will be able to go. With this great exercise. So you see, the most important thing here is to appreciate that they don't want us to get quantity, but they want us to get revenue. So I know that whenever they want me to get quantity, X break even, I know it's fixed cost of a contribution margin. But you see now they want me to give them revenue break even, which then would be F divided by what here, CMR. Remember, this is just a single product. Where CMR is contribution margin, what here? CMR is contribution margin ratio. CMR is contribution margin ratio. And to get this, we shall take CM over price. And what is our CM? Our CM is price minus variable cost. So our selling price here is 10. Minus variable cost of 3. So in this case here, 10 minus 3, this gives me 7. So and once I get CM, I will easily get CMR. So my CMR will be, in this case here, 7 over 10, which must have ended giving you guys what there? 0.7. So CMR is 0.7. And once I get that, then I will be able to come and give you guys revenue break even. So how do I get revenue break even? I will take the firm's fixed cost, which is 14 million. Then I divide this by 0.7. So is there somebody who is able to give me an answer? 14 million divided by 0.7. I can see Monica had 20 million. Priscilla 20 million. That's very good. So is the 20 million correct, ladies and gentlemen? Is it 20 million correct, ladies and gentlemen? 20. So to break even, these guys must generate revenue of 20 million. You're right. To break even, they must generate revenue of 20 million. Thank you so much. That really is indeed good of you. Good of you. Great. And then we have the second part where they want us to give them revenue needed to generate a specific what year profit. So revenue to earn a profit of 7 million. To earn a profit of 7 million. So then this revenue will be fixed cost plus profit over CMR because they want revenue. I'm going to cram this revenue. Revenue, it has to work with CMR. So then this revenue, ladies and gentlemen, will be equal to the firm's fixed cost, which was 14 million, plus the profit of 7 million, which is being targeted, all over CMR of 0.7. Can somebody confirm what answer they're getting here? Henry tells me 30 million. 30 million. So then these will be 30 million. This will be 30 million. Thank you so much. 30 million. All right. So example 2, I would want us to use again a bell and a cane. So example 2, we have here a bell, the two products. Example 2, the two products. So we have here a bell, cane. Actually, I should put them like this, a bell, cane. It'd be easier that way. So we have their selling price, 20, maybe 14. We have variable costs. We have 18. We have variable cost of what year? Of 10. Then we have the quantity sold. Quantity sold, 1,000, 4,000. Yeah, 1,000 and 4,000 is very, very good. Very, very, very good. All right. And then we have the fixed cost for the farm. Fixed cost for the farm. 1,000 times 2, 20, that's 2,000. Yeah, 20,000, okay. 40,000. So fixed cost of the farm, let's work with 50,000. Very quiet. Number 1, revenue to break even. Actually, just that alone, revenue to break even. Let's get that first. Revenue to break even. Adjust the board. Oh, disaster. I hope that will be able to help a little bit. I don't know why I won't. Once you finish, please put your thumbs up so that I can lower my hand. Done. Thank you so much. Peace. Yeah. Great. Let's see. So revenue to break even, I'm giving you exactly 5 minutes. You try, because now you are experts. Now we have got 2 products there. So I'm giving you just 5 minutes. So by 7:23, let's see whether there is any single ninja who would have broken the ice. Okay, so then what do we have here? So the first thing that I'll do, of course, there are 3 marks. I'll come and write here, we have Abel, we have Cain. So I'll be able to write here price. I have variable costs. I have 20 and 14. I have 18 and 10. So then I'm able to get my contribution margins very fast. I'm so sure everybody really got that. Contribution margins very well. So this is 2 and this is 4 like that. So that we got very well. All right. From there, if I'm the one doing this, I will come and get the weights. I will get the weights from the sales quantities. So 1,000, 4,000. Which will be 0. What here? Is there somebody who got those numbers? Do we have anybody who got those numbers? All right. Now, so from there, what will be my next step? I know that now they want me to get contribution margin ratio. How do I get contribution margin ratio? To get contribution margin ratio, we normally take the ratio of the CM over price. I will never calculate CMR for each product independently. No. I want to get WACMRE, so it must be WACM over WAP. That's how you kill it. It has to be WACM over WAP. That's how you kill everything. It has to be WACM over WAP. WACM over WAP. So then how do we get this WACM? So to get WACM, ladies and gentlemen, what I will do, to get this WACM, I will come and take weight 1, contribution margin 1, plus weight 2, contribution margin 2. Like that. So then we have here weight 1. So weight 1, I can see weights, they're here. So weight 1 is 0.2. Contribution margin 1 is 2. Plus weight 2, 0.8. 0.8 times contribution margin 2. Contribution margin 2, which is 4. So is there somebody who is able to give me this WACM? Anybody who is able to give me this WACM? 3.6. Thank you very much. Then how about the WAP? Weighted average price. So to get WAP, what I will do, I will take weight 1, price 1, plus weight 2, price 2. So weight 1, we have here 0.2 times price 1. Price 1, I know the price that I have here, 20. Plus weight 2, 0.8 times price 2. Price 2 of what there? Price 2 of 14. So then are you able to give me the WAP? Anybody who is able to give me this WAP operative first? Yeah, they're giving me 15.2. So this is 15.2. Then come and plug in your numbers here. You know what WAP is? It's 3.6. You know what WAP is? It's 15.2. I pray I get a very, very good number. I pray. I hope it's a good number. I really pray. I really pray I get a good number. I really pray I get a very good number. It has many decimals, eh? It has many decimals. No worries. 0.23, 0.236 something, 0.436 something, 68 has many decimal places. No worries. Now, having gotten this for sure, now I will be able to get my break-even revenue. I'll be able to get my break-even revenue. Now I will be able to get my break-even revenue. I will be able to get my break-even revenue. So my break-even revenue break-even, fixed costs for the workroom rate. So is there somebody who is able to remind us what the fixed cost was? Anybody who is able to remind us what the fixed cost was? 50K. So you take 50K divided by the figure that you have there in your calculator. Don't even round it. Try to dividing by the figure that you have in your calculator. We see whether we'll get a beautiful revenue. Let's see whether we'll be able to get a beautiful revenue. So our revenue break even will be equal to what? Our revenue break even, not very beautiful, but not very bad. Not very bad. Make that 111 Kenya shillings. Is there anybody who was able to get this figure? I saw you guys tried, but do you have anybody who was able to get this figure? Oh, really? At least one student called Mother was able to get it. One student called Mother was able to get it. There is another option. If you don't like this option, there is another option. That first of all, you can give us the quantity to break even. You can give us the quantity to break even. You can come here and give us the quantity. So method two. There's another option. Give us the quantity to break even, which will be F over CM. But now remember, these are two products, so work must be there. Work must be there. And then now remember that you have the fixed cost is 50,000, and the workroom itself, you have gotten the workroom of 3.6. So is there somebody who can give us this answer? 50,000 divided by 3.6 must really be an ugly one. It was tricky, all right? This must be an ugly one. 50,000 divided by 3.6. What figure shall we get here? 13,888. 13,888. But now remember, friends, that this is a combined. This is a combined output, which I may want to split. This is a combined output that I may want to split, which I may want to split to Abel and Cain. So we know that Abel is 0.2. Cain is 0.8. So 0.2 times 13, 888.9. 0.8 times 13, 888.9. Are you able to give us these quantities? They're quite ugly, but just try to work with them. You shall never round up to whole numbers. You need like 2 or even 3 decimal places to be accurate. The more the decimal places, the better. The more the decimal places, the better. The more the decimal places, the better. So according to Sylvia, no, nobody has given me this. The first one, according to Keziah, it is 2777. 2777.8. That is the first one for Abel. How about for Cain? For Cain. I hope you know where I got the 0.2 and 0.8 from. Huh? These are the weights. These are the weights in our sales mix. These are the weights in our sales mix. So according to Sylvia, we have 11, 11, 11. So we have 11, 1, 11 point, 11, 1, 11.11 something, 0.111 something. So then we have the break-even quantities. So now we have the break-even quantities. Now we have the break-even quantities. So we have here the break-even. We have here the break-even quantities. So we have here Abel and Cain. So Abel is 27.7.8. This is 11.11. How about sales revenue? Break-even sales. Break-even revenue. So then break-even revenue is very easy to get. Because break-even revenue, we take price times quantity. Now we have the price for our bill is 20, the selling price, 20 times this 2277.8. This other one, the price is 14 times 11,111, whatever. Please give me those revenues. Just try your very best to give me those revenues. And what we have here. So then tomorrow I will be able to give you. Now I think now we are getting, I never wanted to bother you so much with so many videos before you started getting like a roadmap. Now we have a roadmap for this subject. Now we have a roadmap for this subject. Now we have a roadmap for this subject. So then tomorrow I'll be able to give you like one past paper question that you should be able to watch. So that when we meet, we don't talk about this CVP again. I should be able to go to just decision making. There are 3 key subtopics there. We'll be able to discuss the maxi things, maxi mini, etc. So then is there somebody, first of all, who will be able to give us this 20 times that? This one here gives, according to Madam Lillian, 55, 5, 5, 5, 5. This is very beautiful. 5, 5, 5.6. How about Kane? Sales revenue from Kane. Abel, thank you very much, Keziah. Thank you very much, Anne. Kane is 155. Beautiful here. 155, 555. 155, 555.68.4. One and the same. Then are you able to give me the total now? Are you able to give me the total revenue to break even? Total revenue to break even. Total revenue to break even. Total revenue to break even will be equal to total revenue to break even. Total revenue to break even. When you add the 2, so you add the 2. So according to Norbert, it is 211. But is this answer really very, very familiar? Is this answer very, very familiar? 211.1. Yeah, very familiar. It is just exactly the same as the other one, apart from rounding off errors. We had gotten this using what here? The other model. We had gotten this using the other model. So this video, I'll be uploading this video on YouTube actually, because it is my first video for this particular topic, and also on the LMS. So once I upload it there, I expect everybody to rewatch this video. You don't watch it just once. You watch this video. And then you do now the other past paper questions. I'll be able to show you now where you get it on the LMS. All right. And then now this topic will be very, very well handled. If you do it that way, then you're good. This forms a base for so many things. It forms a base for so many things, for so many other topics. Key limiting factor, you'll be seeing price minus variable cost. That's why I want you to watch it as you make your own notes, Yeah. Immediately, at first I was even seeing your charts there. You are too still young in the subject. Now you're becoming older now. Now we are getting used in this case here as we progress. So everything will be okay. So otherwise, if we stop there, no worries. Let's prepare for the next class. Thank you so much. Be blessed. Bye. Yeah, we need to now adopt that concept here where we upload everything immediately after. Yeah, great. Thank you so much. Okay, bye. God bless you, Maureen. Yeah, I'll share. Let me share it now.